All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 501 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And the day after we lose the Cameilla Bowl to Buffalo, Buffalo played a very good game. Offensively, we could have done better. We pretty much let them have their way with controlling the game, and that's what happened. End up losing the game 23-21. Kudos to the Buffalo Bulls. For us, we got to figure out what is next. What is next for Georgia Southern football? There's a lot of stuff to cover. There's a lot of things to talk about. I want to get into all of that. And I think this is going to be a really good time. Even, it's a really good time to talk about this, even though that this loss really, this loss pretty much, it stings. I'm not going to sit here and say that it doesn't hurt or whatever the case may be. This loss hurt because we know we should have won this game because we know how we lose games. And this really is one of the ways that we don't lose games. Even though we lost 6 games, our 6 losses wasn't like this. So that's why it was kind of, it kind of hit the chest a little bit. If this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. I want to thank Georgia Southern Eagle, I want to thank Georgia Southern Eagle football fans. You guys have been awesome for the growth of this channel, getting my name reached out to places that I never thought they would be reached out to. You guys have been supporting not only here, but on all the other avenues and on Discord. Not to take nothing away from the Falcons fans because you guys have been great as well. But Georgia Southern, the fact that I've been a fan of this team since the early 90s, followed this team through and through, even times when I wasn't really paying attention to the football program because I had other things going on in my life, I've still been with this team through the ups and downs. And this is one of the times where it's been a roller coaster. It's been up and then it's been down. 2022 was a crazy season. Ever since Coach Helton came in and started evaluating talent, and then he took the reins of as a coach, and he done everything he could to get this team to the next level and get this program up to the next level. I don't think he's necessarily there yet, but I think he's on the right path. I think he's taking those steps to get to the next level. The jump from 3-9 to 6-7, which I still don't like the fact that we're a below 500 team to end the season, is still progress. We've changed the trajectory of this program where it was 2 or 3 years ago to the point where it looks like we're going to be getting the type of modern day football talent. We're going to be getting guys in here who want to shine and want to be a part of something special and want to win football games. So I thank Coach Helton for that. I know everybody, especially most people on the West Coast, been looking at Coach Helton kind of side-eye because the way that things went down at USC, which quite frankly, I don't think it was that bad, but that's another story for another day. I think that even though they feel that way, I think Coach Clay Helton is doing a good job with Georgia Southern. And what's next for the team is quite simple. Continue to do what you do. Bring those guys in who want to be Eagles. Bring those guys in who want to, that is hungry for winning bowl games, winning, Sun Belt championships, and all those things of the like. I want Coach Clay Helton to continue to finish the job that he started. He's already got guys in here that want to be a difference maker. You got to understand, in the Cameilla Bowl, all those guys who were making, differences, making a change in the game. I think outside of Bo Johnson, because Bo Johnson had a great game himself. But when you look at a Jet Thompson who made the touchdown, a Marcus Sanders who's been making catches, the Dalen Cobbs who've been helping out, the O.J. Arnolds of the world, those guys are people that Coach Clay Helton brought in. Nothing to take away from the guys who was here before because those guys were amazing. They built what this is now. But Coach Clay Helton is taking what is built and broaden that horizon to make it a bigger platform to bring other talent in. And I think that's what he's able to do, to bring those guys like a Kyle Van Treese or even a Colton Fitzgerald or all these other quarterbacks that wanted to transfer in, the Zach Rosemans and, the Josh Dallases, the David Dallases. You got to understand, what's next for Georgia Southern is just continue to do what we do. We got to look at this game. I don't want any of these guys, and it's really hard for me to talk to the seniors and the guys who are not going to be playing next year because I just don't know what to say. It's just this was their last game for most of them, and a lot of those guys really went out, in an unfortunate way. They went out in a way that they wanted to win this game and they wasn't able to. So I really don't know what to say, and I do. I feel for them very bad. I mean, the guys like Najee Thompson, the kid that one of the guys I first started talking about when I started doing Georgia Southern coverage. Guys like uh, Justin Ellis, and you got Dylan Springer and Todd Bradley Glenn. Believe it or not, he still has a year eligibility. But when you have these guys that been around for so long within this, Georgia Southern, program, and watch them guys go out like that, I don't know what to really say for them. But these young guys who are here, don't forget this game. I want you to understand and remember what it felt like to look at that scoreboard and it said 23-21, and take that as motivation to go in to be bigger, better, faster, stronger, sharper, wiser when you go into these next, few years of playing football, even if it's not with Georgia Southern. I want to see these guys be as successful as possible. And I would love to see these guys stay with Georgia Southern for 3-4 years and actually be, the cornerstones or the pillars of bringing that next level of Georgia Southern greatness to that forefront. But I just want these guys to know that this is not over. This is not the end of the story. Especially for the guys who just came in, these true freshmen who's been doing a fantastic job this season. You got to understand, Jet had a touchdown catch. He had a couple of catches in the other games. He blocked a punt. You know what I mean? Pashawn Wembley has been a monster on that offensive line. You got Latrell Bullock, who went down with an injury, but he was a monster at one point. Marcus Sanders, I've been hearing Marcus Sanders' name in the offseason of last year. So these are but Dalen Cobb. I've been watching film on him when he was in high school, and that kid got some speed. Just give him some open space. So you got a nucleus of talent. Sam Kennerson's coming back. Derwin Burgess is coming back. You got the guys that are transferring in. You got a lot of talent that's about to come in. And hopefully this bowl game does not change the trajectory of what a lot of these kids or some of these kids want to do. They have an opportunity to be really, really good and really, really great and take over, a program and take it to another level where it needs to be. So in January, we're gonna start doing more recruiting. I'm pretty sure of that. I'm pretty sure we're probably gonna be looking at a quarterback. I would not be surprised. I'm not necessarily for it, but I get it. Signing day again is going to be in February. Spring game is going to be in April. So the ball is still rolling for Georgia Southern. Just because we lost this bowl game, which is devastating. I'm not going to sit here and downplay. It's devastating. I hate the fact that we lost this game and the way we lost it. Like I said earlier, we lose games by a certain way where we sit back and like, okay, we know what's the problem. Next year, that's going to be fixed. Okay, I know that's the problem. This is the personnel that comes in that needs to do that. This is the problem. Coach Harris needs to get his guys in here and do this. Defensively. Offensively, most of the time offensively, we put up a lot of points. We usually be pretty good. And, a problem here or there, a mishap, a mistake here or there. But we know the offense is going to keep on churning. So it's not really that big of a deal when it comes to that. The offense is going to do what it do. I think the offense is going to be fine. I firmly believe the offense is going to be fine. But when it comes to the defense, that's where a lot of problems come in. We saw it in the Cameilla Bowl. We've seen it all season. And I don't blame the coaches. I really don't even blame the kids. It's a mesh between both where both sides is like, I'm bringing the philosophy in, and a lot of the kids are like, we're learning on the fly. A lot of those kids learned the defense on the fly. And we did have some guys who played pretty well in the defense. Like Anthony Wilson, he played pretty nice. Latrell Bullock was another one that played pretty nice. You had a couple other guys who shine here and there, Tyler Bride. But you can't get the grasp of this. This is a pretty much exotic 4-2-5 multiple defense. It's going to be a lot of things going on. If guys who've been here 4, 5, 6 years, who've been learning from under Scott Sloan, you're going to look at something different and be like, all right, what is this? I don't understand it. What are we doing? I'm not necessarily I'm not giving them a pass, but I understand what happened here. Because defensively, now I will say before I get out of here and jump to the next topic, there's no excuse for poor tackling. That's something that needs to be addressed or something that needs to be fixed. And I'm not trying to rag on any of these kids because I love these kids. I love the way they play. I love what's going on with these guys. These guys are turning into really good football players. But I will say is the tackling needs to get better. It just has to get better. So I think that is something that's going to be on the forefront. So I'm looking forward to that, and we'll see that. We'll see where that goes. Another thing that I want to see worked on throughout the season or the next season, outside of the defense and the offense, I just want to see where a lot of these guys, and I'm not saying that they're not, I want to see these guys start to embrace the Georgia Southern mentality of being GS men. I think that's something that's not much, that hasn't been talked about much. Somebody need to instill that so these guys can really embrace it. Because I know a lot of the freshmen and some of the sophomores, they really didn't get a taste of that. Because I will say this is not a knock on Coach Clay Helton because he's much more of an outsider, and it's nothing wrong with it because what he's bringing to the table is a bunch of flavor, his own style of a Georgia Southern, player, and I love it. But you need to have to bring back a little bit of those roots of actually being a little bit of nastiness, a little bit of toughness, a little bit of blue collar. You know what I'm saying? We need some guys that, and I know these guys. I feel like a little like Pashawn Wembley and Latrell Buller. Those guys are on the line, but those guys already have that nastiness, toughness to them. And I've seen a lot of guys that we have that are coming in, these big 6'5", 300-pound, 6'4", 248 size kids that are coming in. I already know they have that nastiness in them. I feel it. It's in my gut. I watched them play on tape, but when they put that blue and white on, I feel like they're gonna have that. We need to bring that blue collar mentality back to so these guys know that the only thing that matters is you doing your job, and you doing your job for the next man next to you and for the greater good. You guys are going to win football games. That right there really gets it's a contagious feeling. When you got one guy that's doing it and another guy's doing it, it just spreads throughout the team because it feeds off, a collectiveness where guys that want to win put in that mentality to be the best to win. So mainly, don't do much what you're doing as far as the philosophy on the field. I think Coach Clay Helton has got that down pretty good. As far as the defense, get more of your players into, actually buying into what we're doing, learn the system a little bit. But at the end of the day, we need some of that blue collar nastiness to come back. Because I know the air raid is a little bit of finesse or whatever the case may be. But if you could bring that and mix it in with some of that nasty, pushing people around, blue collar, don't mind getting a little dirty on the field, and don't mind getting your opponent dirty by slinging them around on the field and showing them who you are and showing how proud it is to be a Georgia Southern Eagle when you go out there and put on that helmet, put on that blue and white, and you go and you hear that crowd screaming one more time when that ball is kicked off. When you have that flowing through in your adrenaline, you ready to go, and you ready to go and run through a wall for Coach Clay Helton, Coach Harris, Coach Ellis, that's when you're really going to see a real turnaround of not only just what Coach Clay Helton's bringing to the table, but you bringing in that old school mentality of what Georgia Southern used to be. We don't care who we're playing. You're going to be in a dogfight for 60 minutes. And that's just how it's going to be. Regardless, we're going to beat you in the air. We're going to beat you on the ground. We're going to beat you in special teams. That's what we need in 2023. Let me know what you guys think. I don't have much more to say. Thank you, Coach Clay Helton. Thank you, all the players of the 2022 Georgia Southern football team. You guys made my, you've made my year a special one. It was full of enjoyment. It didn't end like the way we wanted to end it, but I enjoyed every bit of it. I love watching the transition. I love watching these guys go out there and lay it all on the line. The guys who have season-ending injuries, the guys who made fantastic plays, even the guys who made the small plays, the 4th and goal against Appalachian State. You know, the dive play by Kyle Van Treese against Nebraska, the one-handed catch by Derwin Burgess, the touchdown catch by the I think I said that right, Ezra Archie. Those things matter. Those are the things that we want to see. Those are the things that made this season special. Hell, even when Jet Thompson caught the touchdown, ran for the touchdown in the Cameilla Bowl, when J.J. McCaffrey caught that 2-point conversion, you know, there are moments, even in wins and losses, that you go back and look, and it's like, that was a special moment. And I want to have more of those. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys once again for a phenomenal season. It ain't over because football season don't stop. We're going to get into the recruiting side of things. We're going to have some talk about, you know, we're going to go into more of what's next when it comes to Georgia Southern football, because it's so many things to talk about. Who's going to fill Najee Thompson's shoes? Who's going to fill some of these other veterans that are leaving? Who are going to step in and do what we need to do to start being back on track and win some more games for the next season? Who's going to be our quarterback? It's a lot of things to think about. I could be found on YouTube and Rumble. You can find me on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. Before I get out of here, don't forget to click that link down in the description. I didn't talk about it earlier because I was so fired up. Click that link down in the description for BetUS, and you can put down $100, and you will get a 125% bet book bonus. So you can put some wagers on more of these bowl games, some NFL games coming up. Hell, we even got some playoff games that's going to be coming up in college and NFL. Also, you can do something on the you know, the NBA side of things and MMA and esports. I'm going to get out of here, and you guys enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. You guys have a good one. Keep your head up. It ain't over. It's just beginning for the Coach Clay Helton era. Believe that. Y'all take it easy and y'all be blessed. Peace.